Hi friends, and welcome back to another episode of This is for the Soul, the podcast, and I'm your lovely host, Brianna Sade. On this podcast, I talk about all things from self-love, mental health, spirituality, girl talk, you name it, I'ma talk about it. As you listen, I would love to hear from you guys. I would love to hear what you guys think, some of your thoughts, even share some tips, tricks, favorite moments throughout the episode. Just let me know. Let's keep the conversation going. I've been having a lot of difficulties filming this episode from the last episode. The energies are just really high. Mercury retrograde is retrograding. We've been in the pre-phase of it, and now it is actually here. It entered retrograde yesterday in the sign of Virgo. Virgo is an earth sign. Virgos are very hardworking, dedicated. They're grounded in their energy. It's like with Mercury retrograde in Virgo, the energy chaotic. So just bear with me. Episode 19 is not viewable, but you can still listen to it on any podcasting streaming platform, Apple, Spotify, Google. I did upload the video to YouTube, and if you probably seen it, you probably seen like 5 minutes of the video, and then I deleted it. I decided to re-upload it, but I cut some parts out of it. Still only a couple minutes of the video uploaded. So I just finally decided to scrap it and say fuck it. I'm not dealing with this. I'm just not. So here we are today, episode 20, and this is a story time. It's just something that I went through, and I was just thinking of ideas the other day, and I really don't talk a lot about my love life just because as I've gotten older, and I've sometimes when I do talk about my love life, y'all know how it be. People be like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to hear this, or if you're gonna keep going back to the person, why are you even talking about this? I just rather not anymore, because I was that person that was always fixated on who I was talking to or my relationship, and I would just go on and on and on and on about how terribly they would treat me or how bad the situation, and then I would just do all that talking just to go right back. And I know I'm not the only one out there who does that. After a while, it just was like, you know what, I'm just gonna keep this shit to myself. But sometimes it is good to share your story because it can help others. It's just the thoughts in my head that get to me. So I'm working on it. But I want to share this. This is something that I've learned and I've grown from, and I think maybe someone else could benefit from this too. So this happened when I was in high school. It's about my very first girlfriend, and me and her we no longer associate with each other. This was so long ago, but I'm not going to use her real name. I'm going to call her Nia. Me and Nia, I was just very naive. She put me through so much, but she mind fucked me. You know, I'm not the type of person that is solely attracted to like what you look like. What gets me going, I guess it's like a sapiosexual thing. Like it's what's up here, what's in your head that gets me, as opposed to like what's on the outside. And that's just always how I've been. It is about looks, but at the same time it's not. Looks are just the benefit, if you get what I'm saying. She wasn't the prettiest apple in the bunch. However, there were a couple of times where she would make herself look good, and she looked good. Clearly, she just didn't care about herself, and that's what made her unattractive. I would get asked the questions, oh my god, what do you see in her? Ew, she's not that cute, yada yada yada. But she was going through a lot. She didn't have the best childhood. I was just right as well. I was like, you know, I don't give a fuck. And even though she sometimes walked out of the house like she didn't love herself, like I'm talking about hair not done, like you just roll out of bed. I get it, sis. We're in high school, and now apparently going to school in pajamas is the vibe. At least make yourself look like you want to be here, even though you don't. I saw it and I would ignore it. And honestly, I'm gonna say I didn't find it unattractive because on the inside, I was feeling ugly as fuck. The way that the other people would view her is how I was basically kind of feeling on the inside. Like in high school, I was depressed, not all the time, but there were times in high school where I was depressed or I hated myself. It wasn't a good feeling. I was a bully to myself internally. And it's like, of course, I might not look like it because I was the type of person, and I still am, that will fake it till I make it. It's not healthy, but I just didn't wear my pain on my sleeve. And obviously, Miss Girl did. Okay, Nia, you're going through stuff, you're dealing with a lot, but you don't have to necessarily walk out the house like you don't give a fuck. I was young, I was dumb, I was in high school, and she gaslit me a lot and lied to me, and I put up with a lot of shit that I shouldn't have. Our relationship was weird, but the main thing she taught me is you are what you attract. All of the time that I was dealing with her, I wasn't feeling my best, and then when I did stop dealing with her, it led to me feeling insecure about who it is that I date or want to be intimate with, because like I'm hearing all this judgment and criticism and what other people want from me, right? But I had these rose-colored glasses on my face when I was dating her, and I had to pry those glasses off of my face. I had to see Nia for who Nia is. Like, Nia, this girl was a liar. Once a cheater, always a cheater. She's gonna keep doing this. She's not good for you, and you have no reason to keep coming back to this. You have no reason to settle for this, because there is better out there for you. And I had to believe that in order for me to just cut this whole thing off, because if I didn't, then we would probably still be in the same situation. Like, we were more so off than we were on, but we dated for a year and a half, and I was the one who did end our relationship because we were trauma bonded in a way. And I feel like if I didn't say anything, then we probably would have been two miserable bitches still together. Like, no, for real. It also was my fault for entertaining her even after we broke up, and that's where I messed up, because after that I could have just said fuck it and it would have been that. I beat myself up a lot because I messed with this girl until like 2 years after we graduated high school. So that's a long time. And we originally met in middle school. We graduated high school in 2019, and then I officially stopped talking to her in like 2021. I struggled for a long time to forgive Nia, but I also struggled more so to forgive myself because I allowed that to happen. I was cheated on a lot, I was lied to and manipulated. The whole reason I even stuck around is because I guess I was gassed on the idea that she could actually change. Like, she could actually be this person that I ideally want. She's not that person yet, but she could get there, knowing damn well this girl is not going to change. This girl is not going to please you. She's going to please herself and do whatever it is that she want to do, regardless of you being in her life or not. That was just the hard truth that I had to swallow. Falling in love with the idea of someone can get you hurt. And this is not the first time this has happened to me, because it's like you're so gassed of this image and this perspective of who you want this specific person to be, but it's like you're just projecting. You're projecting. Instead of you putting that energy into the other person, put that energy into yourself. And I also had this mentality where I felt like I can always fix someone. Like, I want to fix you. And I wanted to fix Nia. That was my problem, but I couldn't. I couldn't fix her. I couldn't solve what she was going through. And it hurt me, but it's like, that's the reality of it. The real person might be ugly or deceptive. It's this liar and overall not good person. But because the glasses are so stuck on your face, and because you only want to see the good, you're just putting band-aids over all the red flags and covering up what's really hurting, what's really the problem. Sometimes, friend, as hard as it may be, we have to remove those rose-colored glasses. Love is a drug, and it's like sometimes we love some people so hard that it takes us over the edge. But we also go through those things so that way we can see for the future not to put ourselves in those same predicaments. This whole thing, it goes back to those famous 2 words of people pleasing. What looks good to everyone else, when in reality it's like, fuck what looks good to everyone else. Like, who cares? You don't need outside approval to find someone that makes you happy, because if you continue to search for someone through the eyes of everybody else, you're never going to be happy. But when you do find that person, you have to view them from all aspects. You have to see them for not just the good, but the bad and the ugly as well. Now, back to the point of the story. What makes someone ugly is, I would argue, how that person person carries themselves and how they treat not just themselves, but other people. If you are not right on the inside, obviously you're not going to be right on the outside. It's not going to be a good reflection. What's inside is a reflection of your outside. Feeling your best self on the inside, it's going to be a reflection of how you look on the outside. So always remember that. There are days where I don't feel my best, but I just always remember that I need to give myself grace. I allow myself to feel that way, but I don't stay in that feeling, because the more that I stay in that feeling, the more that things will manifest in my life that reflect how I'm feeling. If you are constantly in a negative thought process, your thoughts are going to manifest, and it can manifest in any ways. And mine just so happened to manifest in a relationship, because I was seeking for that love that I could not give myself, apparently. But you live and you learn. It's not about what you wear all the time, and it's not about the outside factors, but it's the extent that you go to nourishing yourself and everything about you, and then pouring that into other people. That's what makes you stand out, and that could even make what you wear stand out. That's what people find attractive. Beauty is the eye of the beholder, which makes it unique, and everyone is allowed to have their opinions on what or who they find attractive. Your opinion is valid, but you have to also remember that it's your opinion. It also doesn't matter, and learning this not only helped me see through my insecurities of how I see others, but it also helped me see through my insecurities of how I see myself.